Hello Pisces, welcome to Mind, Body and Heart Tower Therapy. I'm here to do the reading for December 2019 for Pisces Sun, Moon and Rising signs. And yeah, it's a general reading. If it resonates, and if it doesn't, then it's just not your reading. Do not try to fit it in, stretch it to accommodate your needs. Just, use your intuition to know which messages apply and the way they apply into your stories. My readings tend to be focused on the inner landscape, so yeah, you'll definitely know if it's your reading or not. All right, my dear Pisces, I hope you're well. We're just entered Sagittarius season, which is also intense, but a different kind of intensity than Scorpio season. Yeah. All right, so King of Swords as your current energy. And there's a lot going on. I mean, like, come on, there's so much going on. Eclipse season starting. And yeah, Jupiter is moving to Capricorn. So that's a huge change for all of us. In the beginning of December. There's so much going on in Capricorn in this Sagittarius season, and yeah, it's Pluto and Saturn and Jupiter. But yeah, let's just go on with the reading and see what's the energy with you, for you, and about you. Okay, let's see what's the challenge now for my dear Pisces. Right, so 3 of Wands is your challenge. 7 of Swords is your focus. 6 of Swords as your advice. And the Star as your future energy. Or where this is going to. And we have 8 of Pentacles as your... is the theme of your reading. This is like the underlying energy. It's very hard for me to explain how does this work. Most people just get it somehow. I don't know how, but yeah, you have your own intuition and stuff. But like this underlying energy that I also consider to be the theme of the reading, it kind of talks about like more what's going on at the core of your struggles or your progress, your work this month. What are you really working with? What are you I wouldn't say striving to achieve, more like, yeah, what's your sole intention to work with this month? Which, again, time is a bit relative. It doesn't work really as straightforward. It can be that I had people saying that I talk directly to them, and this is not just about this 1 month. It has to do with their life struggles and their story for the past I don't know how many years. Even though they see probably not March reading or something like that. Again, use your own intuition. So the 8 of Pentacles is your theme, the underlying energy. You're working really hard to 5 of Pentacles with the King of Swords as your current energy. So you're working really hard to master your craft, whatever craft that is. You're incorporating routine. You're incorporating structure, and structure not just in your physical reality, in your physical plane, and having to do with the way you spend your time and I don't know, the simple healthy routines, like I know, waking up at this hour, brushing my teeth, meditating, or whatever it is that you do, going for a run, yoga, having your coffee, whatever your routine is. But also like a structure in the more higher realms as well, because 8 kind of goes both, like it's towards the end of this the peep cycle from 1 to 10, and it shows mastery, like reaching mastery. Oh, 10 is actual mastery, and that's interesting to see both in the swords and the wands suits, because they don't look so favorable, but in a way they are. Okay, let's stop with the tarot theory and get on with your reading. Okay, so we have the Wheel of Fortune with the 3 of Wands as your challenge. We have the World, with the 7 of Swords as your focus. Interesting one. We have the Queen of Swords with the 6 of Swords as your advice. And we have the Hermit with the Star as your future energy. And the King of Pentacles, well, yes, that's what you're working with here. That's what you're working towards. Okay, wait. First observation is that there's 4 major arcana here. So there's something going on this period for you. That's not just a trivial world. It's a little bit more than that. It has to do with your life journey. And that's usually great, because you're touching on points that you saw, had learned certain lessons, and is ready to kind of like really have a deep self-assessment, letting go of the lessons that had been learned and are not, and they are necessary to repeat, and moving into new cycles. And you definitely have this with the Wheel of Fortune in the world here. Okay, so let's see what this is all about. Eight of Pentacles and King of Pentacles. So you're working really hard to reach mastery. And the King of Pentacles talks about mastery of the physical realm, right? Like he's the king of this suit. The Pentacles talks about the physical realm, the way we put our energy into this 3D reality, this hard reality that we live in, actually. You know, we are where we are who we are, whatever your cosmology and your model of the universe, we still need to show up here into this world. Yeah. And King of Pentacles talks about abundance, talks about physical stability, talks about business and entrepreneurship and hard work. Very earthy, very and you Pisces, I mean, like, yes, your sign is very versatile. It can literally connect to each and every energy of the suit, of the whole, like 12 the other 11 signs. You do connect with them and you empathize. You can mirror back, you can borrow the traits from each and every one of the signs. But the point is that can also leave you quite confused, right? And not having a lot of structure. But seems that this month you're really working with incorporating deep structure into your life. That could mean a meditation practice. That could mean a routine that really works for you, whatever it is that you do. You know, the way you spend your time, the way you spend your money, the way you eat, the way you share with your friends and loved ones, if you have any. Hope you do. And with the King of Pentacles, he's also like a builder, he's a loving father. You know, he's out of the all suits, I think he's the most like traditional family man that I can think of. Very grounded, very aware of where he puts his time and energy and money. So that's what you're mastering this month. That's fantastic. We all need to learn some of that one way or another. And I get it, right? Because you have this Five of Pentacles here as your current energy. Obviously, in order to get out of here, you need clarity, which was what the King of Swords brings. So you obviously mastered your mind, you thought it out, you turned it around, you've been through all the cycles of the mind in order to see this for what it is. So what is the Five of Pentacles really talking about? You see these two people being here out into the cold. They look like crippled. This lady's like barefoot in the snow. My goodness, just looking at it makes me cold. They're not having the time of their lives, let's put it this way, right? And you can take this card in many ways. It can mean really like struggling with financial situations, but it can also mean simply feeling like you don't fit in, feeling like a misfit, feeling damaged one way or another. The way you show up into the world, you feel like somehow there's no space for you. It can feel like this Five of Pentacles, you know. The thing is with and this is why the King of Swords is fantastic in this situation, is that it brings that clarity that this is an illusion. The Five of Pentacles is an illusion. We may feel small, we may feel isolated, we may feel like we've been abandoned and left out in the cold and rejected and betrayed, maybe by institutions, like let down, really. These people seem to have really no place to go, nobody to care for them. Yeah, very lost. What I'm saying is they're illusions because they passed this church here, right? This is like it's a place where they can take refuge if they were just aware of it. I don't know if they're even aware that this is a possibility, and I don't know if they're aware that they're actually passing by a church because they don't seem to really look around themselves. They're just lost into their misery. And that's very easy to go there because that's what the mind tells us. My God, I'm lost, I'm not fitting in. There's no place in this world for me, nobody cares. And these people must have gone through quite fucked up situations where maybe they felt dehumanized. And I mean, I'm really talking about this picture. I'm not saying that necessarily had to go through such rough situations, but you know, that can be taken to more subtle levels. The dehumanization can go all the way to the fact that you feel like completely rejected everywhere you go and not being able to connect, not being able to be seen, feeling like really there's no space for you. That's it. It doesn't need to go all the way to the darkest aspects of history, though it could go that way too, unfortunately. The point with the Five of Pentacles is that no matter how isolated we are, no matter or we feel, we are really part of this world. Maybe we don't really understand how, but we need to let go of the part of us that feels, I mean, like when I'm saying let go of the part of us that feels abandoned, it doesn't mean that I don't want to feel it. It means that I'm letting go of the idea that I'm attaching to it. I can feel the feelings. That's how I let go of it. And you get it now with the King of Swords. You're really getting how this works. Because the King of Swords is like really seeing the big picture here. He understands human behavior. Out of all the kings, he's the one who's like the visionary, the most clarity of mind. His emotion don't rule him by no means. He's very logic oriented, and he understands strategy, and he understands what he needs to do in order to get out of here and get all the way here. So great points for you there, Pisces. That's fantastic. I think that you're really getting the hang of it. And you know what it is, right? It's really meeting whatever part of you, whether you meet the part of you that feels sorry for itself, where you meet the part of you that feels rejected and abandoned. And it's about meeting them with compassion and awareness, and not denying or pushing them away either, because they just go into hiding, right? Anyway, yeah, let's go, let's get on, let's move on with this. I hope that makes sense to you, this King of Swords here. I mean, like, you really starting seeing through the illusion that this card brings with the Five of Pentacles. Five of Pentacles really tells you that there is help available. You just need to see it. You need to stop feed into the story that you had inherited, I would say, about yourself, that you're somehow helpless and disconnected, because we are all an organism. We are. And once we understand to connect to our resources, to connect to our environment, to find the points of value around us that we can use, and that's what the King of Swords does best, then you're out of the woods for sure. But what's challenging apparently is really changing, right? I mean, like, sometimes we see all this, like, we understand, okay, yeah, I understand it's an illusion. Yeah, I see how this works. I understand how energy works. I understand that if I feel triggered right now, then maybe that's where I need to heal the wound. I understand all this stuff. And yet somehow I find it very difficult to do the changes necessary in order to get myself out of here, right? It's something that you need to do intentionally with your full awareness. And because the Three of Wands, look at this person, like, he's very clear about what his plan is, and he's done some of the work. It's like when results start showing up a little bit, but have you done what needs to be done in order to come here? If this is the challenge, like, maybe you've put in some work, but maybe only half-heartedly, and you're terrified of change, really. And I'm keep saying, talking about change because of the Wheel of Fortune. Wheel of Fortune is change, is the epitome of change. Is all about, like, impermanence, and the wheel is turning. It's either up or down. It's never going to stay one way or another. It's really that deepest wisdom. And there's the snake here that talks about wisdom and groundedness, and all these flying animals and an angel and the sword here again, the understanding. I think this one's Anubis. It's like really the deepest understanding that things are impermanent and are changing. It talks about being centered and getting ready to, like, by being centered within yourself, you can face whatever comes towards you. But that's your challenge, right? This is your challenge position. So you're afraid of change. You don't want to change something. It can be just out of a comfort zone, or it can be out of, like, paralyzing fear of some sort. You're I think you getting yourself stuck in waiting mode, waiting for your ships to come in, like maybe putting in a minimum effort in one direction that you understand how it works, like you get it, but maybe it's just out of your comfort zone. Yeah, it feels like maybe a little bit too bold, like something that you don't really used to do. I want to pull out a clarifier for this Three of Wands especially. Why is the Three of Wands here with the Wheel of Fortune as your challenge? What's this waiting about? Justice. Okay. And that's again another major arcana here. Maybe you felt mistreated. Maybe, yeah, I mean, like this definitely feels like, why on earth is this happening to me, you know? It's so unfair. Whether you felt abandoned, and maybe you actually were. I mean, this is Pentacles. It's something that it feels really enough. Yeah, we can't truly ever be neither abandoned nor rejected, because we're not a piece of paper. We're not something like we cannot be rejected, and my worth does not stay in people's decision of how to interact with me, or how to spend their time around me or with me, you know. I am rejected only the moment I'm rejecting myself. That's at the core of everything. But this can feel damn real. Damn real. It's a very difficult energy, the Five of Pentacles, right? And you're seeing it. And see, there's like three people, entities, holding one sword. One sword. You've got the clarity. You really have the clarity. Or maybe you're really holding on to the fact that this is just unfair. That you don't want to, whatever it is that you need to do to move on, whatever it is that you're waiting, or maybe you're waiting for divine justice of some sort. The point is that you don't need to wait for that. Life may seem really unfair, but you know, we sign a contract when we come into this world. It's the contract that you make with your own soul. It's what we call karmic contract. Justice this one is difficult to really explain with the justice, because with the karmic contract, because it has nothing to do with good or bad, or with like, yes, I've done this shit in the past and I'm being punished for it. It has nothing to do with punishment. Karma just means action. And as a soul, when I come to this world, I decide what is it that I want to learn. I decide in which direction I want to expand my consciousness. So I choose, where am I going to be born, what kind of experiences I'm going to have, what kind of environment I'm going to have. But there's also that type of free will. Free will meaning that I still can choose which direction to go within this environment, within the landscape, within this climate, you know. And wherever you go, you're going to learn something one way or another, and you're going to repeat lesson after lesson after lesson until you truly let go of it. And now you're put into the position of letting go of something, but you maybe really holding some type of grudge here, thinking that no, some type of justice needs to be served, but you're missing the point, because no, it doesn't. It's not about punishment. It's not about that. Divine justice happens at its own pace, having nothing to do with our perception of how it should come. We need to open ourselves to life as it is, reality as it is, experience as it is. This clarity of ours that we can get every once in a while, it's not here to stay forever. But that clarity that we get, it's fantastic, it's great, but sometimes can also become a little bit the enemy, in the sense that we rely on it too much. I think it was Carlos Castaneda. He had he was a long story, an anthropologist that ended up being initiated in some type of shamanic lineage. And yeah, well, look it up if you're interested, if you know about it, then you know about it. His teacher, Don Juan, was saying that the first enemy of the man of knowledge, because that's what they were calling the person who's like pursuing this path, the first enemy is fear, right? And well, the man of knowledge is supposed to uh, face and challenge his enemy and fight it off somehow. Well, it was a cosmology related to it. And you can lose, so that means that the person will not keep pursuing the path of knowledge, but it will just give up and start just like being acting from programming into this reality as everyone else. Or it will conquer the fear, and then the next enemy will be, and it will gain, was it that? Yeah, we gain clarity. And then the second enemy would be clarity, because you need to fight. When we rely too much on this clarity and we understand how things go, then it feels like a magic power, and it feels like I don't really need to do work anymore, because I have the vision, I understand how this works. But we still need to put in the work. We still need to go to this three of wands here. Two of the wands is taking the decision of having an understanding that I actually create my reality. The three of wands is like, okay, putting in the action and waiting to see how that manifests. But it's the beginning of manifestation. And maybe you're relying a little bit too much on your mind here, Pisces. Okay, I think I'm going off on tangents. I'm not really sure if you're following, if you're still with me here. I'm going to move on. The Seven of Swords and the World as your focus. Yeah, you're relying way too much on your mind with the Seven of Swords. The Seven of Swords talks about when our mind is really trying to trick us here. When the mind is really like rationalizing stuff and trying to do like, trick me into keep doing what I was doing. Okay, I know this sounds crazy, but we can get addicted to our loneliness. We can get addicted to our feelings of abandonment and isolation. We can get addicted to our depression. We can get addicted to a lot of negative thinking and negative emotions. And as I said, at the first glance, doesn't make any goddamn sense. And yet it actually does, because that may be what's your familiar spot. It's like to feel like this. Maybe that's how you grew up, or maybe this is something you identified with at some point in your journey, like feeling the outcast, the rejected, the poor, I don't know, the underdog somehow. And It's a story that we are too small to be able to do anything to change our circumstances. Again, action, doing, centeredness, awareness of this whole cycle related reality. Oh, maybe you're finally getting it. Okay, how this works. You're working yourself to get out of here, but you also understand you're terrified of ever coming back there. Could be a way to look at it. Anyway, with the Seven of Swords here, I think that yeah, you're getting some type of clarity here. The King of Swords and Justice. But you're starting rationalizing too much through it. You're relying on your mind too much, and then you end up like justifying things that are out of your comfort zone to not do, and to keep doing things that are just like in the familiar, in the comfort zone, and so on, that might block you to really move on to the next cycle of the world here. But you know what? I mean, this is your focus, right? And that's good things, because you can see this. This is information for you. This is information that your mind is a tool, just like anything else. It's designed to help you, but you are not your mind. So you start developing that observing quality that's not very no, like a typical way of living or being or thinking, and your observing quality can start to see where your mind is like telling you that, okay, maybe you're too small, you're not good enough, you're damaged, you can't possibly make it out there, you can't possibly create this vision that you see it all so clearly, and yet you don't feel you have the power to power through to move through it and move the mountains you need to move in order to get there. Does that make any sense to you? I hope it does. Well, with the world coming also as your focus, I think that, whoa, again, this is your focus. You seeing this, and you can end this. You have the power to end this cycle now. And as your advice, you have the power to move away from this type of limiting belief that you're putting out there, and self-sabotage that you bring it up. That self-sabotage comes from a very deep place, that rooted in fear and in programming, like the way we were programmed, whether it's for our family or our environment, the rejection that we might have felt, I don't know, in kindergarten or in primary school or whatever, that's been like deeply rooted somewhere in you. Breaking through, and it's like, okay, yeah, I understand that I experienced what I experienced, but you also understand that I had to experience this in order to learn my lesson. The word talks about learned lessons and graduation and moving into a complete new cycle. And with the Six of Swords and the Queen of Swords here, I just noticed you have both the Queen and the King of Swords. Damn right, there's clarity here. And there's clarity to the point that you moving away from this type of thinking. Yeah, you were like, okay, yeah, I see you. This doesn't serve. There's no kindness in this type of thinking. There's no kindness in telling myself that I'm small. There's no kindness in telling myself that I can't make it. There's no kindness in telling myself that I don't deserve to make it out there. Whatever that means to you, apply this in your story. Whatever it is that you feel like you're trying to master, you're seeing how to go through there, you have the clarity, you have the challenges that you have, but you keep that little devil comes telling you like, no, it's not you, you can't make it. There's a lot of people out there that can do it so much better than you. That are smarter, that are better educated, that have the skills, that have the charm, whatever it is that you think you're lacking, in order to get out of this feeling of like being left out in the cold, isolated. The Queen of Swords, like, a lot of clarity again. She's really clear-headed. She's very, it talks also about communication, being able to communicate everything that you're seeing so clearly here, being able to, but doing it also more from heart space. Queen of Swords, like, out of all the queens, she's like the least empathetic and soft, but she's still one of the queens. She is still is, I don't know, how to say this, she's driven by the heart, right? All the queens have their major drive is the heart. So she's able to connect to this place of like, okay, is this serving me, and how is it serving me? Is this honoring myself? Is this honoring my soul, my journey, my passion, the core of who I am? That's why the Wheel of Fortune talks about like really centering yourself. Are these thoughts here that I'm believing? It's not about the thoughts. The thoughts can come and go. That's not a problem. This is what you're learning, right? The thoughts can come and go. The question is like, do I believe them? Do I give them credit? Do I allow the story that I've been told my entire life to keep brainwashing me into believing that I'm this small, damaged creature that doesn't have a space into this world? The Queen of Swords had been here. The Queen of Swords had been everywhere. She's been through everything, and she's learned through her experiences. That's why she's so damn wise and smart and witty. Right. And yeah, this is going, fantastic place, Pisces. There you are. It's the Star. You have the healing. There's the Hermit. You have the see, the Hermit is holding the star, his star, into his how do you call this? Light. So he's bringing healing into the darkest corners of his very investigative energy. He brings light into dark corners of your psyche, is bringing healing into the fear places, is bringing healing into this like parts of you that feel damaged and isolated. He's curious, and he's going out there spreading that wisdom, spreading that like a deep understanding, coming from observation, coming from experience, coming from walking the walk. He's literally walking on the top of the mountains in the middle of the night, carrying the star, the healing, the hope. And the star, right? Like, you are going through an amazing cycle here. The star is Aquarius energy, and the King of Swords is also Aquarius energy. So if you have Aquarius in your chart, or if you're around Aquariuses of some sort, pay attention to that voice. I think that the star also talks about being guided, talks about astrology, talks about the stars in general, like they're working with you. Work with them as well. Be curious, be investigative, allow the healing to take place, allow the emotions to flow, allow yourself to be naked and to be vulnerable, and keeping one step on the physical realm, on the very physical reality, but also one other step in the less physical world, the world of your unconscious, the world of your emotional emotional body, emotional being, the world of mystery and mysticism and whatever is there. Allow yourself to draw. And you, Pisces, you can do that quite well. Draw into the mystical and using your intuition and learn and being with your emotions. Can get lost in them a little bit when you're not grounded. But I feel like that's what you're learning. You're learning to ground yourself. You're learning how to use the energy. You're learning how to better your craft. You're learning how to use your mind to really work for you and not against you. To not give it too much credit, but to be here with it and take decisions from very, very clear perspective without allowing that clarity either to rule you. That's not going to make sense for everybody. It's going to make sense for just a few of you. And yeah. All right, I'm just going to pull out a Rumi card. Rumi Oracle. See the guidance for my beautiful Pisces for December 2019. Happy New Year, by the way. It's happening soon. Sacred Soul Sister. Ooh la la la. I haven't seen this card much. All this red talks also about groundedness, but also about passion. This is number 37. I'm gonna go through it a little bit. So this is the oracle what we're reading from. 37. Almost. Alright, that's a long poem from our dear Rumi, saying, when you are conscious, a cloud of sadness surrounds you. When you are beyond consciousness, the moon rests in your arms. When you are conscious, the beloved moves out of your reach. When you are beyond consciousness, the ecstasy of love moves your way. When you are conscious, you are depressed like fall. When you are beyond consciousness, the winter cold feels like spring. All your wavering is due to your longing to be stable. Look for instability until you become stable. Rumi. I love this. Look for instability until you become stable. You have the Five Pentacles, the King of Pentacles into the same reading from your present moment to the whole journey of this 1 month-ish cycle. The fives always talk about the growth, actually. We need to go through this in order to go to the six, in order to understand kindness, in order to understand that we need to ask for help and we can give help. It's about learning the lesson of how much we can give and how much we can take, right? But it's a very unstable period. And sometimes we get stuck in the Four of Pentacles, which was all about just like that lower stability of like clinging to whatever makes sense to you in that moment. Then there is no growth. Look for instability until it becomes stable. Damn right. There is a valid point of view that we travel this path of our life journey alone. Our deepest descent into the psyche happens alone. We meet death alone and come into the world alone. And yet there is a vaster perspective that we are never alone, that it will be impossible to really be alone. We are connected to all of life, and there is no such thing as being alone in reality, only in limited and temporary perception. This is why this is an illusion. And thank you so much, Rumi. That's exactly what I wanted to say, and I don't know if I relate it so clearly. Wow, yes. Right. And if such community were not enough, there is a partner, an ally, who journeys with you from birth to death and beyond again and again. You have a sacred sister, a sister of your soul. She weaves the story of truth through dreams and insights that come upon you as if from nowhere. Perhaps they drop into your mind or seem to erupt from within you, but that is her talking to you, demanding or reassuring depending on what the occasion best calls for that at that moment. Her truths may seem overly dramatic to you, so you may discount them as workings of an overactive imagination, or perhaps her truth tales are so subtle you dismiss them as meaningless, fleeting fancy. The wise ones know, however, that the truth, and there's a lot of wisdom in this reading, that the truth, what was that? Da, 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 da. That the truths of the sacred soul sisters are powerful, relevant, and worthy of time and attention. They know her oftentimes strange and startling offerings hold the key to unlock entire worlds, to open up new realities. There it is. Transform the nature of our existence from the deepest and most esoteric spiritual levels to the most palpable, practical, daily realities of our living bodies in the physical world. Hell yeah. Okay, so your sacred soul sister is your partner in consciousness. Make no mistake, she is you. She is just a part of you so great you cannot always see her from your conscious mind. It is sort of like the eye of the dog trying to see its whole self, which is a bit tricky for it as it moves to see its rear, so the rear is moved along too. So rather than through direct perception, the sacred soul sister is met through reflection. She can be received in those moments of rest where great ideas are born. She is a genius, you see, vastly creative and inspired. Her worlds are those we access in sleep and meditation. The hermit talks about meditation as well. Sleep and meditation or absorbing engagement in activity where the mind can relax and drop into realities far more vast than those of daily life can be replenished. Okay, so I'm just trying to shorten it up because, this oracle comes with particular guidance. You know something deep in your bones without knowing how or why, or without particular reason, you just know. It doesn't make sense, but you know. It may be joy that you know, it may be that you know to avoid a certain situation. That clarity. It may be that something is going to work out beautifully despite appearances of the contrary at a particular moment. It may be that you are meant to take a certain path. You just know. This oracle comes as confirmation that your knowing, mysterious as it is your sacred soul sister talking through you. Trust it and act or not accordingly. You are guided here with the star. And there's healing going on. And yeah, trust your inner intuition. You know exactly what this is about if you resonate with this reading. And if you do, please like, share, and subscribe. And yeah, fully enjoy this month. It's a beautiful journey. It's very empowering. Yeah. So yeah, please like, share, and subscribe if you resonate and if this reading is helping you in one way or another, so that other people can reach to these readings and benefit from them as well. Thank you so much for being here. Have a wonderful December.